Jesus Freak here. Hope everyone's having as much of a Merry Christmas as I guess they can. Since I've been working on this a bit, I decided I'd give you guys a bit of an update on my SuperKJV project. I've been looking at trying to integrate a concordance with it. Well, I got some good news and bad news about that. The bad news is I wasn't able to integrate any existing ones, and the reason is, give me a second because I'm going to have to pause my camera. There aren't any good copies of Crudens in text format. There's not really anything comparable even to a stripped down Crudens. Strong's is really not what I'm looking for because it's keyed to the original languages. I'm looking specifically for keyed to King James. And even with print editions of Crudens, like the one I have, they're usually, poorly built. This is perfect bound, so if I were even going to try to type everything up by hand, not only would I really be cramping my hand because it's got the injuries of 40 years of typing on computers. But you get the problem that it's going to be really small print. And this is true of pretty much every copy of Crudens that I've seen that I know of. And you're going to have basically the same problem with scanned copies. They're going to be so low resolution out of necessity. The text is going to be really blobby. It's going to be hard for humans to read, let alone computers. And if they have put it through OCR, the OCR is going to be so riddled with mistakes that it's useless. I probably checked about a half dozen copies. The good news is I've been able to figure out a lot of the necessary resources, and I'm actually working on a concordance of my own in a similar style. I'm, looking over Crudens to see, what exactly Cruden did. I mean, it's not going to take me a year of 18-hour days like it took Cruden back in 1737 to do the same thing Cruden's doing. Because I have a lot of, iron to help me out here. Intel iron. Anyway, I'm not doing exactly the same thing he did. There's some elements of a dictionary in his concordance, and I kind of want to keep mine to being just a concordance. But I'm looking at, the same basic idea. The general concept of Cruden's Concordance. And boiling it down to something I can, convert into ultimately an HTML document and bundle with it the SuperKJV project. As you've seen, the SuperKJV has a 3-column format with the table of contents on the left, the Bible in the middle, and the extra information that's there that's going to be on the right. And all this bonus stuff is going to be keyed so that if you click on a link, for example, to John 3:16, then it's going to open the Bible to John 3:16. A lot of this is stuff that was built into HTML from the beginning or from very early on and could have been done easily for the past 25 years. The tricks are going to be, I'm still working here and there on the footnote stuff, and do want to try to integrate that. I'm debating also including the Treasury of Scriptural Knowledge by, I believe his name is R.A. Torrey. His cross-reference system is kind of crud if you ask me, but it does have about 500,000 cross-references. So if I can find a way to integrate that, of course I want to save that for after I integrate the translation notes. I think at that point the SuperKJV will be about on par with your average Dead Tree Bible, which, let's say your average Dead Tree Bible. This is a little bit more than your average Dead Tree Bible. I've had this for about 4 years now, since when it finally arrived was December 26th, 2019. I'm recording this December 25th, 2023. And this is a little bit more than your average Bible because it's Alan Clarendon, but the contents are pretty typical for, you got your epistle dedicatory, you got your cross-references, center column references as the translator notes, index names, concordance, typical stuff you find in the back of Bibles. Maps I'm still working out. I don't really want to include that one site's because of the way the maps are. They show a route for the Exodus that's clearly improbable. Now, if I had maps like this one, this one doesn't actually show anything, so there's nothing wrong with it. It shows, the general area. It doesn't show a route to the Exodus. So something like that I'd be fine with. And I might still look into something else. There's a subject index in here. Maybe I'll try to see if I can adapt an early version of Thompson or something. Not every version is still copyrighted. So, we'll see. For what it's worth, I'm on the first stage of editing, where I'm basically, deciding what to prune out of the main concordance, and after that, what to put in the secondary concordance, which is the index names. So, after that, I can try to see, clean up the concordance a little bit, maybe make some improvements, maybe see if someone else can make some improvements, because it's just going to be a basic HTML file. We'll see how things work out. I'm actually about halfway through the sorting phase. I've got up through M done, so. Little interesting thing I've noticed about the copies of Crudens I've found online. I haven't checked to see if that's the case here. I don't think it is. I think this one's actually had some further editing, but some of the ones I've seen online actually don't differentiate between I and J and between U and V. And I thought by 1737 they would have had those fully differentiated. So I'm actually surprised. In the past, I felt like trying to sort through the word list was like kicking dead whales down the beach. It's really not as hard as I thought. And there's not as many words as I thought there's. About 12,500 unique words, I think I found. So, it sounds like a lot. It's not really that much. Anyway, I'm still starting to think of, when I was trying to do that project with the Geneva Bible, and I wanted to try to see if I could cram it all on a disc in a format, have a viewer and everything, and have it on a single 3.5-inch disc, and I'm like, well, unless I use compression, that's not going to happen. But, computers have moved on. I'm not using a 486 DX5 anymore. And I'm designing around what I've got now. Probably won't work all that well on a phone, but probably work just fine on this laptop right behind my phone. It'd probably work. I'm designing around 1920 by 1080. It might not work as well on 1366 by 768, but work well enough, I think. Jesus freak out.